Hey, home builders, welcome to the Star Building Materials podcast, the Home Building Key. My name is Dharm. I work with Star as the marketing coordinator. I look after a lot of the communications, events, and marketing for Star Building Materials. And I was lucky enough to join Star and enter into the home building industry just a little bit over a year ago. And today we are fortunate enough to have our Director of Manufacturing join us for the first episode. His name is David Klassen. Dave, why don't you tell us a little bit about your role and what you do?
Sure. So I'm somewhat new to this role as well. I've been in it just over a year as the Director of Manufacturing. So I provide direction to both Alberta facilities, both in Calgary and Edmonton, on the manufacturing side and the design side of our of the products we supply. So that would include roof trusses, engineered I-joists, and wall panels.
Thanks, Dave. Yeah, we're very lucky to have Dave. He's always, coming up with bringing the newest technology and innovation to our company to help us drive growth in the home building industry. Dave, why don't you tell us a little bit about your journey and what led you to this path?
Yeah, so I always knew I wanted to be an engineer and a structural engineer at that. So I went to university in Manitoba where I grew up. And I took structural engineering, and I came out ready to design steel and concrete. And there wasn't a whole lot of steel and concrete available, and somehow I landed at Star Building Materials as a truss designer. Quickly fell in love with trusses and the lumber industry. It's a nice medium to work with, and there's so much you can do with it. So much creativity available in wood design.
So, can you tell us about some of the fun and exciting stuff that's going on in the home building industry and maybe some of the challenges?
For sure. So when I entered the industry many years ago, there was very little automation. It was pieces of paper, tapes, and measuring and laying things out and assembling trusses. And with the I-joist, it was cut to the nearest length or bought to the nearest 2 foot. So in my last something like 28 years in the industry, I've seen so much progression. We have lasers projecting images down on tables, telling us where to position the wood, saving time. We have automated pucks positioning where the jigs are to hold the trusses in place as we produce them. But the one big thing that was missing is material handling, and that's really been the next big leap that the industry has done. And we've been monitoring it for the last, almost 10 years ago, the technology started coming out. And then we saw about 4 or 5 years ago that it was starting to become really efficient. So we've taken the leap in our current expansion in both cities and put in what we call the direct drive system from MyTech for truss production. So what happens there is a full bunk of lumber is loaded into a cart along with 11 other bunks, and then a robotic arm comes and automatically picks up the lumber and takes it back to the saw, which is also automated, automatically cuts and optimizes everything to get as much wood out of that stick that you feed into it as it can. And then it sends it down a conveyor system right to the tables where the builders are assembling. Currently, we have a number of people pushing wood around, handling material, whereas now that's all automated, and those people can be working on other things. So we can put them to work somewhere else. So automation is all about getting things done more efficiently. It's not about eliminating people; it's about allowing people to do more for us.
Awesome. And would you say that this is helping home builders be more efficient and helping with the housing crisis that we're dealing with right now?
Yeah, like technology has evolved along with the types of plans that home builders are putting out there. So in Calgary in particular, there's no two trusses alike, and this equipment is really specialized to doing complex, non-repetitive members. So by investing in equipment that matches up with the types of projects that are being done in Calgary, we can build more efficiently for them, help keeping the costs down and in line, and getting products out quicker. From the start of a package to the end of the package is a matter of hours, not days. So again, having that flexibility to do things quickly when needed is only in the home builder's best interest.
That's great stuff. I know that we also have brought in some other, leading technology and first of a kind equipment here in Alberta. And could you tell us a little bit about the PET saw, for example?
Yeah, absolutely. So PET is the acronym we throw around. It's a precision engineered trim is what it stands for. Like I mentioned earlier, in the past, we would often have joists either bought at 2 foot increments, and we send them to site, and they would trim them to exact length and then throw out the waste. What we now are doing is we have the Boise SawTech system where the saw can actually feed a full 60-foot long joist in, and we'll cut it to the 16th of an inch. So that joist, once it's been marked and cut, when it hits the field, they just install it. They're no longer trimming it. So it saves a bit of time for the framers on site. Having everything labeled makes it very clear to them that where on the layout this joist belongs, instead of them having to just work with a pile of joists and figure it out themselves. So that's another benefit on site. A benefit for us to help pay for this expensive equipment is we take that 60-foot joist, but we can actually cut, say, 63 feet out of it, because as we cut to the 16th of an inch, there's all the little waste pieces just extend the next joist. So we cut a whole bunch of individual pieces, and we can stretch that joist out, and we can actually gain back some material. Instead of throwing it in the dumpster, we're actually stretching it out and just optimizing the whole system. And again, that's why we can offer the service at no extra cost, because of that will actually help offset the cost of the equipment. It also speeds everything up. A package that might have taken the team, upwards of an hour to cut with chainsaws in the yard, we can now produce in 15, 20 minutes in the shop. So the quality goes up, we can produce more, and then there's also that waste savings that we can pocket.
Yeah, that's amazing stuff. Like, it's very important to be able to build sustainably in the world that we live in today. And I wanted to talk to you about some of the other innovative practices that we brought in, like the latest technology that we brought in, the Ranger. Could you speak to that a little bit?
Yeah, the Ranger is the that auto picker in the truss system. So that's where we place up to 12 different bunks of lumber underneath it, and it comes along, scans exactly where the lumber is, drops down a suction cup, picks up a board at a time to bring it to the saw. So again, that's just material handling that we now have machines doing for us, and then that frees up our staff to do the more complex manual jobs that we need done.
Using some of this equipment that we have, does it help reduce errors for the home builders?
For sure. When we have machines doing it, it's precise and repetitive. So it will, the designers have to make sure they get it right, because the machines will only read whatever input they're getting from the design team. But it does take away a lot of those manual decisions that we've had to do in the past, and we can make sure that as long as we have the right bunk of lumber underneath the right piece of equipment, it always grabs the board the same way every time. Now, the wood isn't perfect, so there will be some issues along the way where a twisted board will get dropped, and that's why we still have a sawyer that will be checking and making sure that just the straightest of the boards are fed through the machines. So that also ends up having a better quality effect in the end, because you can't send junk wood through these sophisticated machines. So
for sure,
better product through, better product out in the end as well.
Absolutely. Yeah. The last thing you would want to do is have a warped piece of wood trying to hold up, a frame. So what about, our wall panel production? How are we helping the home builders, put up more houses faster with our wall panel production? Yeah,
there's a lot of focus in wall panels on, call it repetitive panels. So in multifamily, you see a lot of companies really focusing on the multifamily segment, especially apartment buildings. We felt there was a real need on the single family side to help with quality, consistency, and time is really what our wall panels are doing for the single family home builders. The reason most companies don't want to touch it is it's very design intense. So we were very fortunate to partner with D&B Lumber when they decided to retire, and we took over their equipment and also a number of their staff. So that learning curve, which, that was a 10-year learning curve for them, we managed to pick up overnight. It's been fantastic. Wow. So we know all the design practices that really help create a good product on site. We've learned how to tailor each wall package for the specific builders. We don't just sell this like a lift of lumber that every lumber yard has the same exact product. We tailor the product for the builder. So we meet with the builders ahead of time, talk through a number of scenarios, which window manufacturer you're using, what kind of ROs they have, how you like your corner details done. And we really tailor that package for the builder. So now the builder doesn't have to rely on which framing crew is doing that job for him. He knows from our shop it's going to be done the way they want us to every time. So that consistent quality is a big impact. Also, then they're going to save a few days on site. Everyone's complaining about the labor pool is getting thinner. People are retiring. There's not as many young people wanting to go into the trades. So this allows us to control that in the shop, where you don't have to contend with the environment. And then on site, they're just standing up the walls and getting that consistent quality at a faster pace.
Yeah, no, and that's a great point that you bring up about the labor shortage in the industry. And so I like to think that Star is very active in trying to take on that labor shortage. What are some of the things that Star is doing to kind of, other than, our production processes, but some of the other things that Star is actively involved in to try and help take on that labor shortage?
Yeah, no, we've brought on some really good people that have a lot of connections to different immigrant groups to offer positions to them. So we've done a lot of job fairs to help attract some of those people. Probably our referral bonus program that we have is one of our strongest tools, so that if staff stick around for a set amount of time, there's a bonus to the ones that are bringing them in, and we've had so much success with that program. And then also there's some onus too. You're not going to refer someone that you don't trust to actually be able to last the 3 months and won't make you look bad.
Absolutely.
So there's been a lot of, I won't say self-policing, but definitely they try to make sure that they recommend people that are going to be good for the company. We also offer a lot of benefits that most of our competition can't do. Being part of the Qualco family allows us to tap into a really robust benefits program. So it doesn't matter if you're the CEO of the company or if you're the guy that hired yesterday and you're pounding together walls on the tables. Everybody's got access to that same program, whether it's RSP sharing or whether it's dental health. And that also has been a huge draw. Having worked for the company since, it's like almost 30 years, you start to forget that, but it is really impactful to the new hires.
That's really amazing stuff that we're doing to bring more people into the industry. It's very important, especially in a province like Alberta where home building is this industry is thriving. So I know that you're also involved in some organizations such as TCIP and WWTA Alberta. Could you tell me a little bit about these organizations and your involvement in them?
Yeah, so I've been in the industry, like I mentioned, almost 30 years.
Mm-hmm.
I saw very quickly that the industry is only as good as the people that are in it, and that it really takes some leadership from some companies to actually drive the industry forward and to make it what it is. So some of those organizations would be there's Supply Build Canada. So it used to be the Lumbermen's Association, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
So we have a number of people that are quite active in that, pushing it forward, providing training and just to help elevate our industry. Myself, I'm more involved in the truss side of things. So the Western Wood Truss Association, WWTA, there's an association across the country. So every province has an association.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm lucky enough to represent Alberta as one of the directors on that, the board of directors for the Truss Association. But then we also have a national body that sets the rules for truss design. It's the Truss Plate Institute of Canada, TPIC. So every province has the ability to send one engineer to sit on that committee. So we meet twice a year, and a bunch of engineers sit around a room. There's about 20 of us in total. And we work on the actual code for truss design. So we have to make sure that our design manual is in alignment with the national codes and provincial codes. So that's always a big push. So every 5 years, we're producing a new version of that document, and we're always keeping it in line with the code bodies. But what's nice is coming from a truss plant, I can bring that perspective of a plant that's assembling trusses. So some of the things might sound good on paper and theoretically work, but we always have to bring back, what actually is really happening out in the real world. So it's really important for me to be connected with the other manufacturers and just get their input in terms of what issues are they having, and I try to bring that to that board.
I see.
And push for change.
We're very lucky to have someone like you who's involved in these organizations at Star. So why don't you tell me about some of the stuff? You are one of the leaders at our organization who bring in these new innovative processes
Mm-hmm.
to help make sure that we're always ahead of the curve and being efficient. So what are some of the things that you do that allow you to see what's trending and stuff in the industry? Yeah,
no, it's really important to have a good relationship with your competitors, also through these organizations. So it's quite friendly competition in Calgary. So I will reach out to other plant managers, and if the situation arises, we'll often pull the Truss Association to help deal with the situation. A number of years ago, there was a situation brewing with the city of Calgary in terms of how things were being done, and we banded together and presented a case, and we managed to make change through that. But then there's a much bigger organization. Every provincial association is part of the Canadian Association. So just keeping my ear to the ground in terms of what's going on there, and making sure I'm aware of things as they're coming up before they actually are sprung on us. And then the wider body is in the U.S. They have a much more powerful association in terms of they just have that much more members and revenue. So I make sure that I stay in tune with what's going on with the Structural Building Components Association in the U.S. There's trust conventions, believe it or not. So I do quite often go down to the Building Component Manufacturers Convention, where all the suppliers will bring all their equipment together, and they'll have some courses. So lifelong learning is always just making sure you're up to speed and what's around the corner. And then, it's just skulking around on the websites and just seeing what new equipment's out there, and just keeping an eye on it, because not all the new equipment is going to actually make it to your plant. A lot of it is, looks good, but it's just not effective.
For sure.
Like right now, with us setting up a new plant, we were, taking a good hard look at robotics. It seems like that's the future, but it's not the present. So down the road, I could see us going down that way, but right now it's still just in that developmental stage, and we're just keeping an eye on things like that.
Okay.
Same as this direct drive system that we're installing right now in both cities. 5 years ago, or just over 5 years ago, I didn't believe in it. But it's come along, they've refined it, and now it's at the point where, yes, this is the right thing for us.
That's great. And so, talking about how right now it's not the present, but what's in the future. What else do you see coming down the pipeline in the future, for from a production and manufacturing standpoint?
I think we'll just keep, right now we're evolving the current equipment. Like I know in the wall panel plant, we found what we believe is to be the best equipment right now that we're installing, and that's with Triad. That's a company actually that's been around a long time, and our current equipment is Triad as well. And their Profusion bridge, you can't just take what you see on the website or a demo as gospel. We actually did go to a number of different plants, and we saw real life situations. And that Triad equipment was outperforming the others consistently, and that's why we went that way. Having said that, we have a fourth line open. We intentionally are waiting to see what's around the corner. So we're evaluating the competitors, and if 2 years from now when we put another line in, we're going to make sure that it is still the best line. Just because we currently have Triad doesn't mean that the new line will be, but currently from what we see, we're expecting it likely will be.
Now Star Building Materials is in the middle of our expansion. We're expanding both in Edmonton and Calgary, and I know that you've brought in some of this new technology into these new spaces. Could you tell us a little bit about the expansion in both both the cities and in your involvement in the expansion?
Yeah, for sure. Just before this, I looked back to see when did it actually start on this. So it was January of 2022 is when we started actually digging into this expansion, and here we are. April, knock on wood, by the time anyone sees this, we're going to be up and running. Exactly. So we should be up and running in April. So honestly, it all started back in probably 2018 when we saw we were outgrowing our current location, and we opened up what we refer to as North Star up by Balzac area, just behind the Cross Iron Mall. And May 2019 is a date we'll all remember, as we opened the new distribution yard. We went to the WMS scan gun system for inventory control, and we put the Sawtech saw in. It was a big task for me, and I worked very closely with our director of Southern Alberta operations, Richard Tunnicliffe. And between the two of us, we put up a warehouse and a logistics building with Qualico's help. And it was a really good learning curve. We were quite happy with how everything worked out. There's a few little things that we might change or might have changed. But that allowed us to cut our teeth for this project. This project dwarfs it in every respect. The size of it, it's 18 acres instead of 13. It's 3 large buildings, including a 2-story office space. We did reach out to a number of companies in North America that specialize in setting up lumber yards and manufacturing facilities.
Right.
And, after interviewing them and seeing what they had to offer, we realized that I think we can do this ourselves better than what they can do. So we spent a lot of hours in planning and sketching and rethinking and trying to get that yard layout just to optimize material flow and really focus on staff amenities. Chad actually from the wall plant really put it well when he started throwing around the term of treat it like a campus. So that's really the feel it is, where you have gathering spaces and you go off to your separate buildings and It really does have that college university campus type of feel. And just making sure that we have good staff amenities in every building, so the staff feel that they're valued and they have a place that they want to be at. It's not just a job for a lot of them; it's a career for many of us at Star. So that was a big focus on setting up the plant. That, and of course, having product roll in one side and finished goods out the other, just having a really good flow of material so you're not tripping over yourself. I think that was the secret to our success, I hope. Time will tell.
Super exciting stuff. Company culture is always a very important thing to have. And so why don't you tell us a little bit about the Edmonton expansion? Were you quite involved there as well?
Yeah, exactly. So we had already been planning for Calgary since early 2022. And then in the summer of 2024, an opportunity came along that we could recreate a lot of that up in Edmonton. So some thought it was just a matter of picking up what we did in Calgary and plunking it down in Edmonton. It wasn't quite that simple. The buildings were different shapes and they were existing buildings, but a lot of what we learned with, what was the best equipment at the time, we were able to incorporate and we were able to get in, and it just all happened so much faster. So we went from Calgary having the first of many of these things to actually Edmonton actually jumping ahead of us by a few weeks. So it was great to see Edmonton get the first direct drive system installed in Canada. It is already operational, so we've been just kind of shaking out the bugs and getting that thing up and running. And much like Calgary, having that equipment specialized for certain types of projects, but still having the existing equipment to handle other types. So that flexibility, I think, is really going to serve them well. One of the huge things that I'm really excited about and proud of is we built a second floor mezzanine staff space. One of the tours we did, there was a second floor viewing room where you could see the plant in action, and it was just so awesome to see. Maybe it's only a trust guy that would think that, but so we made we literally have a viewing room. So when we do tours and such, we can actually pop in this room and you have a bird's eye view of this equipment in action, and it's really gets the juices flowing. Like it's really exciting.
That's awesome.
And again, it's just a great space for staff where they've been working out of a lease space for some time, so there's a limited amount of improvements you can make. Now they have a bright new kitchen, cafeteria, locker rooms, showers, meeting spaces, training rooms, all the things that we wished we always could have done for them. Now we're able to give them. So that's super exciting.
Is there anything else that you think anybody really working in the home building industry of some of the challenges that we need to overcome over the next couple of years here?
Yeah, the big literally my name or the title of the role I'm in, Director of Manufacturing, has people focused on the manufacturing. The equipment's really cool to watch, but a big piece of it is the design side. And on that design side, that's where the tie-in really is to the home builders. When we work with the home builders to optimize the design, it can help them put things together quicker, more efficiently, with less cost. So I think that's a big area that I'd like to really push on, is to just make sure that the home builders, their design teams, and their construction teams are working closely with our design teams to optimize what we do. Kind of our mantra ever since I started the industry has been, we always have the three things we got to weigh against each other is, cost of the product, how well it goes together in our shops for us to build and ship it, but also how well it goes together on site. If you ignore any one of those three, somebody's going to be left not happy with it. Right. So when we can get together with the construction manager, the estimating manager, and then also with our manufacturing teams, then we can really make the magic happen and provide a product that will save time and money for everyone involved.
Yeah, so it's really what Star is. Our goal is to be more of a partner than just a
Absolutely.
A supplier.
Yeah, and it might seem counterintuitive to many in the business world, but even partnering with our competitors has really served us well. When COVID hit and there was supply restrictions and we were on allocation of products, there was so much working together with the competitors in terms of, I'll send you a truckload of rim board and you send me a truckload of joists, selling each other products that we were short on. Allowed us to help the home builders move forward. If one of us wasn't able to do it, and we didn't want to get in the way of providing homes in the city because we knew there was a demand, and yet we didn't have the products. So, just reaching out and working together as an industry really strengthens us big time.
Oh, that's great.
And that's something you see in Alberta that you don't see in a lot of places. So it's really, really neat to be a part of that.
No doubt. Community over competition, right? I think that was great. I learned a lot. I learn a lot from you every day, Dave. But I'm very happy that you agreed to come down here and join me on the podcast and share some of the things that you do, on a long term and then on a daily basis. And I hope that our viewers got a lot of information and insight today with our podcast as well. We're going to have some more guests here. We're going to do a lot more of these episodes and make sure that we're able to get out, the most pertinent information to all our audience. So thank you everyone for joining us. Thank you again, Dave, for joining us as well. And we'll see you next time on the Home Building Key.
Thanks, Dar.